Well, hello there. This is Jim. I am bringing you the third episode of the Linux Shortcut podcast. Today, I'm going to talk about something interesting. I'm going to talk about how to browse and follow Twitter, now known as X, the social media platform, using Nitter, TW Stalker, some extensions, and RSS. So, first of all, many of you may know Twitter was renamed X a while ago, and Elon's team changed a number of things and made it harder for people who do not have a Twitter account to do more than simply read a single individual tweet. There used to be an extension called Nitter Redirect. That is now defunct since they changed the name of the app. However, there are some new services that one can take advantage of. Nitter is sort of a proxy service that allows one to click on Twitter links and have them show up on an alternate service. It went away for a while. Elon's team broke that functionality along with a bunch of other functionalities. However, it's back. And it may be precarious, but as of right now, it's working. So the first thing I'm going to do is come up to a Twitter link like this. Say I happen to follow mixed martial arts, so this was big news the other day about a fight coming up. So you click on a link like this, right? Maybe you're on a social media platform or a chat, whatever, and there you go. You can see the link, right? Because Twitter would be broken if simple embedding didn't work. Anybody, even without an account, can see this link and read it. However, you can't interact with it really other than this. If you try to see the replies, you get the pop-up, right? With no account, you can't do anything. Obviously, without an account, you're never going to be able to post, but before Elon's team changed things, you used to be able to read the replies. You used to be able to, go to the root, go to an account and just browse through the account. And as of now, you can do it, but it doesn't give you like all the latest. As you can see, look, here's UFC champion Dricus du Plessis' account on X. You got old posts from 2024. All his new posts from 2025 are not available. You used to be able to do that even without a Twitter account. All you had to do was go onto the website in your phone or your laptop or desktop, and it would be there. So using these services is a way around it. So now I'm going to go back here. I'm going to re-enable this Firefox extension that I'm using in WaterFox for demonstration purposes, and I'm going to enable this. And what this does is it uses an instance of Nitter called X Canceled. It's one of the few that are working right now. And as you can see, when you click on an X or Twitter link, it now takes you through this little verification screen without touching anything or refreshing. It will automatically, the extension automatically will send me to the page. Of course, now that I'm demonstrating it, it's taken more than a second, so let's try that again. All right. Usually it goes pretty much instantaneously. And there you go. So this extension for Firefox or WaterFox or any Firefox browser works, and now you can not only see the tweet in its more or less its original format, but you can see the replies, which, when you're following social media, the replies are often as interesting as the post. And you can click load more. This functionality is not available when you're a person that does not have an X account anymore, if you ever did, and you just can't do anything with it. So this enables it to work very well. There are other ways to do it, but this I find to be one of the easiest. Now, it all depends on Nitter, and it's a service. As you can see, here's a website that explains, you should bookmark this. These are some of the instances that work. It's all dependent and all kind of precariously dependent on these volunteers making these sites work. And if you hammer them and try to overuse them, you're likely to get your IP banned. But if you use them gingerly, you can make use of these instances here. It just replaces the X, or formerly the twitter.com, in the URL. And the extension automates that process. the one I showed you relies 100% on xcancel. Now, there's some others here that also work. And then here's another page right here on this GitHub that shows some of the other Nitter instances. I don't know how long these are going to work. It's not inconceivable that Elon's team could block these again and make them, non-functional. But I'm hopeful that they will work for a while. I had these working for several days now. It is possible to also host your own Nitter instance, but very, very difficult according to what I read, because you need to trick Twitter. You need an account to trick Twitter and allow you and others or your own personal instance to have access. So we're really dependent on these volunteers that maintain these things. Now, if you don't use Firefox, there is a similar extension for Brave or Chrome right here. So that's another option. Now, aside from that, there's other options. You can, if you don't want to rely on a single extension, or you don't want to or if xcanceled instance goes down, there's a script right here on this GitHub that you can put into a script application, an extension in Firefox or similar browsers, where you can install the script from the URL. And what it will do is it will allow you, it will basically perform the same functionality. It will automatically send your X link to a Nitter instance. But unlike this one, where it's entirely dependent on one particular Nitter instance, xcancel, if that goes down or has problems, with the script, you could simply change right down here. See that? Nitter.net, one of their main instances. You could manually change that. And if that script's loaded in your browser, you could use one of the alternate Nitter instances in case one is not acting right, one has downtime. You can use one of the other ones. This does require a lot of permissions, but it does work. Now, if you don't want to have to rely on an extension that goes to one Nitter instance like xcancel, you don't want to have to use a Violent Monkey or Grease Monkey or one of these script apps to run a script like this because you don't trust it, or you just want to have manual control over it. There's one other thing that I do. Let me turn off the extension xcanceled, right? Let's go back to the X link. So let's say you follow this link, right? There it is. All right, you can read the link, but again, you can't interact with it. Can't read the replies. You can't click a hashtag. If you click one of the people or accounts mentioned there, it'll take you somewhere, but it's not going to have all the new their new tweets. It's going to have a bunch of old tweets. It's unlike a couple years ago. You used to be able to do that even with no account. However, I went on ChatGPT and had it described a script that I wanted created, and it actually worked. I was able to create a little bookmarklet and put it right up here in the bookmark bar. I got one for Nitter.net, and I've got one for TW Stalker. They're the same script. I just changed changed how it reads. Right, so this is it. It's a little bit of JavaScript. These are usually called bookmarklets. I put them here in the bookmark bar rather than up here in the main bookmark. So they basically sit there right below the address bar. And then you can give it a keyword like that, NI in this case, for Nitter.net. So, and the other thing is you could customize this. If Nitter.net goes down, right here, you can change the instance and use one of the other ones, like xcancel or one of the others that may work better. Well, if this one happens to be down, you have control over this. It's not automatic, but if you wanted to use keyboard shortcuts, like let me show you, like in my last video, I talked a lot about keyboard shortcuts. You hit Control L or Alt D or F6. It'll highlight the address bar. You type NI, and right away, there it is. You see the little bit of JavaScript comes up from the keyword. You hit Enter. So now it's manually going to send you over to Nitter.net. And there it goes. Of course, now that I'm making a video, what happened? That's very strange. Let's try that again. Of course, whenever you're showing something on a video, it never works right. Usually this works, instantaneously. It's able to. All right, this is a good chance to edit this and see if this works. For whatever reason, knitter.net is down at the moment. Let me go in and change this. I'll make use of this and be able to show the. There we go. Just turned the light on so you could see me a little better. The show that this is changeable. X cancel. Knitter is a bit precarious. Some of the instances have better uptime than others. So I just changed that to X cancel. So now let's go back here to an X link. Right. So now Control L and I, and now let's see what it does. There it goes. See, boom. It didn't even give you the little waiting verification screen. You're able to change that. That error actually was good because I was able to show you that you're able to change that manually. Now, let's say Elon's team blocks Knitter again, like they did when they took over. It just started working again a little while ago. But as I said, it's precarious. There's another service that does the same thing. Let me go back. So there's the X link again, right? So you followed this from a link somewhere. Instead, I'm going to hit Control L to highlight the address bar. I'm going to hit TW, the other keyword, and hit Enter. And boom, it goes to a different service called TW Stalker. It's not related to Knitter as far as I know, but it works. So it's another option. And as you could saw, if I wasn't demonstrating this on a video, I could manually hit these, and it only takes a second or a second and a half to, hit Control L, hit TW, hit Enter, boom, and you're there. And the nice thing about it is, look at this. You've got the replies, right? You can keep scrolling down, and you can follow hashtags. Look at this. If you don't have a Twitter account, you can't do this. You can't follow these hashtags. It gives you a pop-up, right, and blocks you from doing that. Also, you could follow an account. This is, let me go to MMA Fighting. It's a online website that breaks all the mixed martial arts news. So there you go. You can actually follow, and as you can see, it's got current, tweets from today. And I'm sorry, I'm not calling it X. I'm calling it Twitter because I just think X is a dumb name. But using Knitter or TW Stalker with these extensions or with these little bookmarklets allows you to get access to not just individual tweets, but the replies. It allows you to go to accounts and browse the new tweets from today or yesterday or this week, etc. It allows you to follow hashtags. You can't do any of that without an account anymore like you used to be able to. Now, I'm going to talk about one other thing that really puts this all together and makes it very powerful. What you can do is you can use RSS. Some of the Knitter instances, these two in particular, Xcancel and knitter.poas.org, these will have RSS. All right. And what you can do is you can follow, for example, in Thunderbird, which is an email program, but it also has a pretty good RSS reader built in. You can follow these links here, and you can basically subscribe to the feed, though by attaching /RSS to the end of those, the Knitter URL with the tweet in it, like this. You see right here, right? And it'll show up depending on if you use, what settings you use. Message body as a web page. The summary will just be text, but if you use message body as a web page, you'll actually get the tweet in its main format. And Thunderbird collects all these. You can see this whole collection here from the last few days. It collects these, these posts on the feed and collects them into a mailbox. So you can subscribe to as many different feeds as you want, put them in a mailbox and, describe it, call it whatever you want. And you will have now long-term storage of all those tweets through the RSS feed. And you could even filter them and search them just like you do with regular emails in Thunderbird. And so it's really cool. Again, this totally depends. In this case, knitter.poas.org was working. It went on and off for me a few times. I had to change IP addresses. I might have hammered it too many times and got my IP banned briefly. But if you set your RSS reader to maybe only once a day or once an hour, you can experiment with it, and it hopefully will continue to work. Now, lastly, I also figured out that I have a couple of RSS readers in my Android phone. And since Android's sort of a form of Linux, I feel that's fair game. Many of us like to read these kind of things on our phone rather than on your laptop, like here in Thunderbird. So what I figured out was, let me go back to WaterFox, you can use one of the RSS readers on Android. In particular, I use two. I use one called Feeder, Feeder. And this is a screen capture that I'm showing you right now from my phone. You could, using Xcancel and their RSS, it's been working for me for several days reliably. I have the RSS reader pinging and pulling on these accounts. And so what this does, in effect, is using Knitter, that particular instance, xcancel.com, and /RSS, I'm able to pull these in as a feed. And as you can see, I have folders, fun stuff, Linux and technology, and this is my MMA folder. And I've got several accounts here, and you can see the number of new posts on there. And so you can stay on top of and follow whatever accounts you want. And it's sort of like a Twitter app. It's creating an app where you can, look at these individual accounts, or you can look at them together. For example, here's the card view. If you look at one on Feeder, it's a great free and open source app. I believe it's in Google Play and in the F-Droid. So you got the card view, or you can change the view for one of the accounts. Gives you a nice view. If you could even use a super compact view in Feeder. And as you can see here, this is a mixed feed, just like I think you used to get on Twitter, right? You can see these are a few different accounts, all the posts in order, top to bottom or bottom to top. And so effectively on my phone now, I am able, without a Twitter account, I am able to follow multiple accounts and create a feed, even group them by subject, MMA, Linux, whatever. If you want to see like what an individual tweet looks like, this is one of them, the top half of it. That's a screen cap from my Android phone. It shows up pretty nicely. You've got text, images, links, and then if you scroll down, you would come to here. That's the bottom half of the image. It does give a couple of extra weird unnecessary characters on the bottom. I don't know what the explanation is for that, but I mean the fact that this works using Knitter, using RSS, and that Feeder, this free and open source app, is able to put this all together and and create, let you follow these individual accounts all throughout the day. Once an hour, I have this ping and bring these down to me, and I can look at them here, one account at a time, in a nice card view or a compact view. I can look at the feed, of multiple accounts, in sequential order, top to bottom or bottom to top, and that the individual feeds look pretty nice like this, I think is amazing. It's all dependent on Knitter and RSS. So I found this to be something that, even though I do not have Twitter and obviously can't reply on there, I do like to follow the news. In my case, I'm following news about combat sports and mixed martial arts, whatever it is that you follow. Just because you may have given up on Twitter a while ago and you don't want to be involved, you don't want to post there, doesn't mean that there aren't some interesting accounts you might want to follow for your business or hobby, tech, whatever it may be, Linux related or otherwise. So I found between all these services, it's an excellent substitute as long as it lasts. So hopefully it's going to keep working, and hopefully some other people found that useful like I did. So thank you to the one person so far who subscribed to my podcast. I hope others find this interesting, and I hope to see some more feedback soon. Thank you very much.